All right, so we're going to start today, like how we started last week. We're creating a new VS Code project. One of the things that I probably didn't make clear, anytime we're doing new work, we need to open or create a new folder. Yeah? So last week I created a folder, I call it week 1, and inside that folder, I call it lecture, and I put my code in that folder. I'm not going to use that folder again. I use a different folder now. And create a new folder, call it week 2. And inside that folder, you can call it lecture as well. And this is the folder that's going to house my project. So I'm going to open VS Code. And I open the folder to that, open VS Code to that folder. Desktop, this, that. Another important thing to note as well, it's not recommended to put a project inside of the folder of another project, because that's going to cause conflicts when you're going to push the GitHub.
Say that again?
It's not recommended to put a project inside of the folder of another project.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going to get conflicts when you're going to push the GitHub. So like if I have a folder called lecture, and that folder is a project, and it pushed to GitHub, if I make a folder inside of lecture and call it tutorial, when I again push that, VS Code is going to say, but wait, lecture is a GitHub repository. I can't push this as a repository inside a repository. You're going to get confused. So it's better to keep them completely separate. All right. Okay.
So if you create a folder, you can do it in the VS Code?
Kind of, but it's more complicated. Better do it on the machine, outside of VS Code. Wait a minute, let's come back. So that's how we're going to continue the Python crash course. How was the tutorial, by the way?
It wasn't bad. I saw the really important indentation.
Okay, good. That's good. You learn by doing.
I said, I'm not writing, but it not run.
With not run, yeah.
Yeah.
That will be a problem. Let me see if I can find your code. All right, so I was looking at your code. I see device name, print, sample 10, voltage, readings, 4i in readings, print I. Then you have a battery percentage. Hello, morning. For that. Okay. All right. All right, that's fine. I was asking, how was it? You got to the tutorial from last week? Yeah, how was it? Question 4. Print average. Say again? Okay, sure. Yeah, how was the tutorial? How was the tutorial? Was good? Didn't have any issues?
So, watch this now. Coming on as another day, now. For the VS, right? May have it in this. Yeah. What may I say? In a show, in a this. What may I say?
All right, separate from that, one thing I wouldn't recommend as well. This is in there. It's being tracked by OneDrive. That might cause problem in the future.
Okay.
So I didn't know if to tell you to put it.
Will it outside of OneDrive?
Yeah, it's better to do it outside of OneDrive because there's going to be a time when we're going to be dealing with what is known as a virtual environment. That folder that we use to maintain our virtual environment is going to be very heavy with a bag of files, and OneDrive is going to get very confused when it sees that folder. It'll make more sense when we get to it. We'll probably get to it maybe next week, maybe later this week. But in Python, there's a concept that we like to take advantage of where we have, think of you have your whole computer, right? And you have Python installed on the computer. You have different libraries that you may want to install to use for your different projects. But let's say you have a particular project that needs this specific version of that library. Not the version of the library that is on your computer on a whole. It needs a very specific version because maybe something with this version different and you need that difference. You're not going to uninstall that library off your computer and reinstall the new one because another project on your computer might need that library. So instead of reinstalling and upgrading and downgrading your libraries, we have folders inside our projects that are dedicated to being the dependencies of our project. What I mean by that is everything for your project will have everything it needs inside its project folder. It will not be dependent on the installation of Python on your computer at large. Yeah? That's called a virtual environment. So your computer itself is the environment, and then you have an environment inside the environment. It's like a virtual machine. You guys familiar with virtual machines? You have a computer on your computer? Yeah, so it's similar, except it's not a whole computer, it's just a folder that has all your libraries, all of your different dependencies, everything that your project needs specifically. So if it's a case where you need to deploy your application to an next computer, you don't have to rely on the fact that it works on your computer, it may not work on that computer. As long as you have all your requirements documented in your project, when you move it up on another computer, it should work. All you need is Python. As long as Python is on the computer, your virtual environment should be able to take over. I'll show you that in a little bit. But the reason I mention that is because OneDrive don't like virtual environments. There's a whole lot of things to track, and it's very heavy, and OneDrive starts to fritz out when it gets to that point. Yeah, so write your code outside of OneDrive if you can.
Yeah, so send me create a new folder and I'm going to add it to this.
So you're going to go to, let me show you. Go to File at the top left, and you go to Open Folder. When you click Open Folder, you should be able to navigate to that folder that you created. Yeah. All right, one sec. All right, one thing that I did not get into last week so much. Well, I didn't really pay too much attention to for loops, but I think for loops are important and we need to take a look at how those work. Because they're different from what we do in C-like languages. Let me cancel this. I would have shown a simple example of how it works, but the example I showed was more like a for each loop. Let me do that again. So let me create a new file, call it app.py. And I had a block of code that looked like this. Let me zoom in so you can see it. I don't need this anymore. So I said, let me create some names. So I have a variable here called names. All right, so I have a variable here called names, and that is my array of names. By the way, in Python, they don't really call them arrays. They call them lists, yeah? They're effectively the same thing, except arrays are intended to be of the same type. Each element in the array should be the same type. Like I told you, Python don't care about type. So you can have anything in your square brackets as long as it is valid Python. So we'll call it a list. Yeah? So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to write a for loop that goes through, it iterates through my list and prints each individual element. So I'm going to say for name, or I can say for I. I would imagine you're more familiar with using I, because when you're writing your for loops, you say for int I equals 0, I less than something, I plus plus. So I can keep consistent if you want. So I say for I in names, put my colon, press enter. I'm going to say print name. Sorry, not name, print I. And what I told you was that when we write it this way, we have our list at the top called names, and that contains 3 of our elements, just 3 in this case. For I in names, what that means is I will assume the identity or will take on the value of each individual element in names. So for I is the first element in name, print the first element. Then on the next loop, you don't have to I++, it will do it for you. I will be equal to Jim, then it will print Jim. Then I will be John and it will print John. Yeah? So if I run this, I should get that. Tell me if it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah?
Use numbers.
Use numbers. Okay. I like that you said that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove this variable. I'm not going to change it for something else. I'm just going to remove it completely. VS Code is complaining that names is not defined because I removed the variable, so that's fine. He said use numbers. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a function in Python called range. Range creates an iterable object, meaning it's a data structure that you can step through one by one of numbers, and you have to specify the starting point and the ending point. Optionally, you can, well, the starting point is optional. If you don't specify a starting point, it will assume 0, I think. If you specify, let me just show you. So I'm going to say range. And what that is going to do is going to create a range of numbers. If I just say 10, it is going to give me a range of numbers that start from 0. Okay, this is confusing. It starts at 0, and it will give me 10 numbers. It doesn't actually stop at 10. From 0, if you start at 0 and I want 10 numbers, what's the last number going to be? 9. So it's actually going to start at 0 and give me 10 numbers. It gives me 10 numbers because I said 10. So if I were to print this, let me press this. It starts at 0 and then goes to 9. It don't print the 10. So you can think of the 10 as not inclusive. Exclusive? Whichever one it is, yeah.
But what makes it assume that it wants you to go from 0 to 9 and not 0 to 0.1 to 0.2 to 0.2?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Okay. So I mentioned that the starting point is optional. Another thing that's optional is the step value. So, yeah, so I can, the thing is, if I want to specify the step value, I have to specify the starting point too. So I can have to put 0 here, so, and then comma, and again say 0.1. So that means it's going to start at 1, then it's going to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, all the way up to 10, or rather 9. So if I save this now, wait, did I do this wrong? Float, oh, it can't be a float. Unless this has to be a float as well. Let me check. Does this also have to be a float? All right, hold on. So it's a float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Oh, maybe the step value has to be an integer. I've never tried that before. Let's see if that is the case. Let me put 1 or 2 rather, and specify this, specify that. Run this. Okay, it works now. Let me see what this says. When it was 0. Float object cannot be interpreted. Okay. All right, maybe I'm wrong about the step value. I think the step value has to be an integer, it looks like. Either that or I'm using it incorrectly. I might have to look it up and tell you. But the concept still stays. We'll have a starting point, an exclusive ending point, and then how much to step by. So we start at 0. We tell it the ending point, and the ending point is exclusive, meaning we don't actually go up to the 10. And this says count up by 2. So it goes 0, then 2, then 4, and so on, until it reaches the end. Run it again. So it starts at 0, and go all the way up to 8. And the 10 is not inclusive. Make sense? Yeah?
So can you count down?
I want to feel like. So if I say 10 and go down to 0, let me take out the step. It didn't work. I want to feel like you can wait unless. Wait.
Put minus 1 and minus 2.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Okay. I guess if you don't specify a step, it assumes you're going up. So the step tells it how to iterate. Start at the starting point and then go up by this much. And when you go up by a negative number, you go down. Yeah? Like, you know, like in circuit analysis, a negative voltage this way means actually positive that way. Yeah. So going up by negative means you're going down by 1, by positive. So we start at 10, and it doesn't hit 1 because 1 is exclusive. So it stops at 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let's do some maths. You guys know to the summation? You know the, was it sigma? Yeah? Where we have we specify our starting point. So you have sigma, and then below that you have n equals 0, right? And at the top is your upper limit, say 100. And then you want to calculate n. That is going to be 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, go straight up until you reach plus 100, right? And then it will output that. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to say, whoops, what is this? I don't know what I just did. What did I just do? I don't know how I did that. I don't know what that was. Let me say. Calc the summation of 0 to 100. Okay, so I'm going to say my starting point is 0. What would I put for my ending point?
Would it be 101?
I think it would be 101. Because when we're doing summation, we specify our starting point, n equals 0 down the bottom, and we specify our upper limit at the top, which is 100. When we're writing a summation, the format in which we write the work, it includes the top number. So it means that we need to include 100. So because we need 100, I'm going to put 101. Yeah? Because the last number we specify is not included. So instead of printing, or rather instead of just printing, I need to add them. I'm going to create a variable.
Okay, times sum.
I don't like the word sum, remember, because Python uses that word sum. So I'm going to call it summation.
Okay.
Yeah. Set that equal to 0. Tell me why I set it equal to 0. Why didn't I set it equal to 1? Or 2 or 10?
Why didn't you do?
Why didn't I set it equal to 1 or 2 or 10? Why do I set summation to 0?
I guess we could assume the first value of the index.
The first value of the index. What do you mean by that? All right, think about it this way. I say that I'm going to perform a summation, right? In my summation, you just count up all the numbers.
Yeah.
No matter what number I start with, that first number plus 0 is still that first number. So if I start off my container that I'm using to hold all of the value, starts with 0, it will not affect the summation. What if we were doing, you know sigma notation, you know pi notation?
Okay.
When you're doing a production, it's not production, but what's the word? I don't know what the word for it is.
Question.
Yeah.
But what if we're doing the summation and n is equal to 2 and not 0?
Where n,
Start summation at 2.
yeah, we could do that by putting that 2 here. So we put the starting point there. Yeah. And in that case, you could still set summation equal to 0. Let me tell you, I'm not sure if this is clear. What I'm using summation to do. Here's what I'm using summation to do. Summation equal summation plus I.
I understand that.
Is this confusing to anybody at all? Is this okay? So I have my value of summation, or rather, this don't really have a value yet. This has a value. This value is going to be whatever the value of summation was before. In this case, because we haven't run the for loop and it's on its first iteration, it will be 0 first. Then it will add I. In this, on first iteration, the value of I is what? 2. So it's going to be 0 plus 2. Then on the next, so this is 2. Next iteration, what's the value of summation? 2 plus what?
4.
It's not, it's counting up by 1.
Okay.
So it's going to be 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So now this is 5. And then keep going up like that until finish. Let's start off with 1 though. I can do an example with start off with 2 after that. Start off at 0, I mean. So now I'm going to print summation. So with that in mind, we see why I start off summation to be 0 first. Yeah? Because I don't want to affect the value of it before I start to do my calculation. If I put summation equal 1, on the first iteration, it would add 1 to it. So it would have the summation from 0 up to 100 plus an extra 1. And we don't want that. But I was saying if it was a product, you'd start off summation to be 1. Because anything times 1 is anything. If you started it by 0, you'd be 0 times 1 times 2 times 3, and that would just be 0. We don't want that. So it depends on what it is we're trying to do. By the way, this is not Python. This is just programming, right? So let me run this now. Oh wait, it printed everything. Okay, I actually didn't want it to print everything. But we see why it printed everything. It printed the whole summation go straight up. So every time it calculated an element in the summation, it printed it. So I need to take it out. So I can just do this. Just backspace. So what's happening here is, let me move this down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code. The first line of code is where I initialize summation. Then I have my for loop. This is the header of my for loop. And this singular line here is the only thing in the body of the for loop. And we know that because it is indented. Yeah. If we outdent, unindent a line, it is not counted as the body of the for loop. So before, when I ran the code, print was right underneath summation. That's why it printed every single element of the summation. So every time it calculates this, it prints it. Don't want that. I want it to calculate the summation. I want this whole for loop to run to completion, and then when it's done, it print. Yeah? So now, I should be able to just do this. I just print 550. Let us confirm that are true. What is this? Summation has 2 m's. All right. You never know that. So we say we want to start from 0 up to 100, and we want to calculate n, 550. Make sense?
So,
Yeah? Okay.
but I want to try something. So
Sure.
go up to the code and take out summation, the second summation, and put summation plus equal I.
Okay. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing. So I would imagine you'd have discovered a shortcut.
Yeah, but then that worked for me.
It didn't work?
No.
Really?
No,
You had plus equal?
I don't remember what I tried.
Okay. Well, the reason this works is because in Python, if you want to reassign a value, you can use this shortcut plus equal. So instead of saying summation equals summation plus I, you can say summation plus equal I. So it will take the previous value of summation and just add I to it. Yeah? You can do it with minus as well, and multiply and divide. So you can say times equal, divide equal, the next one, minus equal, and so on. And we said that we want to look at an example where it starts at 2. So let me run this. We get 549. That makes sense, right? Because it just doesn't add the 1. Yeah. So if I start at 2, 549, yeah.
What was the word it was equal?
Summation equals summation plus I. Summation equals summation plus I. This is what was there before. But we do this because we're reassigning a variable. So it had an assignment before, and we are reassigning it with, what do you call that? Remember? There's a word for it. I don't remember what the word is. But yeah. This good? Yes? Questions on this? Can you show me how to find the summation of... Oh wait, actually before that, real quick. We started off with range going from 0 to 101. What if I change that 0 to 1? Before, when it was 0 to 101, it gave me a summation of 50-50. What if I change this to 1? What would happen? Change the starting point to 1 instead of 0. What would my summation then be? 5048?
I don't know. I think that you minus in 1 from it. So maybe.
Did I minus 1? Think of it this way. We're talking about the summation from 0. Alright, let's think about the summation of 0 up to 4. Summation from 0 to 4. Tell me what numbers to start. What's the first number? 0, then plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4. I'm not going to give you a number. But then I'm saying, change this 0 to 1. What would the starting point be? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. That's it.
Okay, that'd be the same.
It'd be the same.
Because,
Yeah.
okay, because the summation in this case starts at 0.
At 0. And when you add 0 to anything, is anything.
0.
Yeah? So the fact that you start off at 0 or start off at 1, it shouldn't change anything because the only difference is this starts off by adding 0. So it don't change anything. The summation still remains. It changes when you start off at some other number other than 0. So if you start off at 4 or 10 or 11, then it will start from there and then go up. Yeah?
This is something about the indentation.
Yes, the indentation is very important.
The print has to be in line with the for loop.
Only if you want it to print every time it calculates a summation.
So, say
Oh, the for loop, you say. The reason why it's in line with my for loop is because the for loop is at the extreme left.
so it can be more right.
What, this?
Print.
The print, if you put it more right, like more right than the summation, I think Python will complain.
But if it's in line with
If it is in line with summation, it will print, it will count itself as part of the for loop. So every time this line run, then print will run right after. And we don't want that. I mean, unless you do. It's fine if you do. If the instruction says that you need to print every element of the summation, fine. But I don't want to. I just want to print the ending value of the summation. All right. Can we do this? N squared plus 1. Start from 2 and end at 38. Can we get this in Python using the same for loop? So this is n squared plus 1. Oh wait, I didn't show you how to the power of. Okay, you know to the multiply. It's just asterisk. To the power of is double asterisk. So n squared is n star star 2 in Python.
So, okay, so we all do.
N squared plus 1 from 2 to 38.
So that's the N2 with the step.
No, this is a summation.
Alright, so you don't
So I want you to calculate all of these for n starting at 2 and n at 38. And you should get 19,055. Mm-hmm. Anybody get it? Supposed to get this. If you don't get this, then something wrong. This plus 1 is not on the square. It is n squared plus 1. Not n squared or n to the power of 2 plus 1. It is n squared plus 1. Yeah, so bracket the n squared. Tell me if you need my assistance.
the start of summation of 0 is supposed to matter.
Don't matter.
But again, 1 in it.
Oh, that's true. So if you start at 0, it will include 1. So we don't want it to include, we don't want to start at 0 because we don't want it to include 1. I want it to start at 2. You got it? No? Right? Is it that difficult? Dang. Can I show you? So, what I would do, summation. So, in the math, it's a n equal, but we're using I. You can change it to n if you want, but we're using I. So, first thing, it's a start at 2 and end at 38. So, I need to change my starting point to 2 and change my ending point to 1 plus 38, which is 39. I stop at 39 because remember 39 is exclusive. We don't include the 39, we stop right before the 39. So now, next thing I need to do is change this part, the n squared plus 1. So what I do is just change this. So it is I squared, let me put this in brackets, plus 1. I believe that should be it. I hope that's it. Yeah, 1955. What? Oh, which plus sign? Oh, okay, got you. Remember, you know, what we're doing is we're calculating this and we're adding it back to summation. Summation is keeping track of our summation. Tell me if this is confusing. Let me know if I need to do this again. That's true, but still remember I said, you know, we initialize summation to be 0. This doesn't specify the starting point. This just specifies what summation was before you start the summation. Right, we set the range here. So this is actually going to be 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and go, well, not plus 2. 2 squared plus 1. Yeah. I did it that way because on the first iteration, this value, summation here, has to have a value. And if I didn't declare it here, summation would not have been declared to have a value. And I think that would cause problem.
What was it? It was
19,055. Are we okay with this? Do we want one more example? Or should it be fine?
Okay, no. Yeah, one drive thing I thought about.
Really? Oh. Go right here, so, and then press Control C. Summation. Run it again. Oh, it did work. Okay, maybe it was hanging before me. I don't know why. That was strange. But yeah, if at any point you're in your terminal and it freezes, press Control C to kill it.
To do what?
To kill the process. Like if it's hanging,
I cancel it.
yeah, to cancel it, to stop it from running. Control C will kill the process. And if you want to clear it, Control L. Who was using Mac? Who? Who? Jonathan. Oh, okay. Okay. Jonathan is the guy. When project again? Remember Jonathan project? Regulator, yeah, true. Yeah, alright, I know what you're talking. Okay. Alright. Are we okay with this? Is this fine? Can we do one more example? Instead of doing a summation, We do a product instead. So let me see. Is there a pi notation? Product notation calculator? So, can I not? Pi notation calculator. How do I edit this? I want to start off at 4. Wait, why is it broken? Jaja. Did that break? No, that's not what I wanted. You get the top. I'm trying to fiddle with this site. 4 new. All right. Do this. Change this to a 14. Okay. All right, let's run this. So the starting point is 3. The ending point is 14. And we want n. I think that's correct, yeah? Mm-hmm. So the starting point is 3, the ending point is 14, and the formula is just n. So we just want the product from 3 up to 14. I don't like how this looks. It looks like it's 3 to the power n, but it's not. It's just n. Can we do this? Is this confusing? Like the way it's written?
So you see, starting point at 3.
Yeah. Ending point is 14. I'm just finding the product of n. Pi notation. No, oops. Notation. Yeah. So we start off at, what I said, start off at 3, end at 14, and it's just n. Just replace this with n. You know what I'm saying?
So you want the
Just the product of 3 to 14. Back. I'll stay here.
In the 4, the 2 is inclusive,
Mm-hmm.
but the 39 isn't.
Exclusive, correct.
So it's about 39.
It stops at 38. It doesn't do 39. It will stop at 1 minus whatever number you put.
That's just how it.
That's just how it works here. Default starts at 0 and stop is omitted. Yeah. I just hover over range and it will give me documentation. You'll get that if you have Python installed in VS Code, the Python extension. Oh, what is the answer? I don't know. This big piece of number right there. So. That is huge. Did you get it? No? One more time, I just want to stress, this is not Python specific, this is programming. Or rather, it's computation. I'm just saying, being able to calculate this is not Python specific.
Yeah, but what was the instruction?
Answer this one, this huge number right here. So. What? No, I was saying that this is the answer.
Yeah, but the instruction.
Oh, calculate a product starting at 3, ending at 14, and you just calculate the product of n. You get it?
Starting from 3, ending at
14, and just find the product of n. Mm-hmm. Can anybody tell me what to do to get it working?
Wait,
All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want the 14, yes. Means a multiplication version of summation.
already know.
You already know?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Considering all of it, you know why.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
just keep the value as it, the summation as it.
So-
And just change 0 to 1.
Change it to 1.
Yeah.
All right, I hear what you're saying. Keep it as summation, but it's not a summation anymore.
I know. So wait first.
All right, wait first.
Make it work and then we
All right.
repeat it.
All right.
And then now in the range,
Mm-hmm.
3
Mm-hmm.
and then 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be summation
Mm-hmm.
times. So
Mm-hmm.
the first times,
Mm-hmm.
take out the whole of that and just put I.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
Yeah, and then run it now, save it and run it.
That's it?
Yeah, save it and run it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you can no bind.
Let me see. 5, 6. Yeah, that look great.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the kind of confusing is when you show me the way that's now the formula.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's all kind of confusing too.
What's that? Oh, same thing up? Mm-hmm. Tell me if it makes sense. Make sense?
Sir, I got that first one with the problem.
The problem was you weren't confident enough.
No, I put 14.
Oh, okay. Okay, understand.
So, sir, I got that as well.
Okay, that's good. You find something? No?
Everything black.
Sure. It's annoying. So this makes sense? Yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hmm? Oh, you kept that 0, so you kept multiplying by 0.
Yeah, but based on how it, when you think it right before, you think it would have just jump and start like whatever in the loop.
It would. But remember, for the for loop, before the for loop starts, you had summation equals 0. So that means when the for loop started, this value here was 0. So it multiplied 0 by 3, then times 4, then times 5 by 0. So it's just 0. Yeah. So that is why in the first place, when I was doing my summation, I started off with 0. But when I'm doing my product, I've started off with 1. Because anything times 1 is anything. Yeah? Anything times 0 is 0. Okay. Comfortable? Any questions, or I can move on? All right. So the next thing that I want to look
Wait,
at,
do you want to look here
a Control A, backspace.
Oh.
All right, let me see now. The next thing I want to look at, very important. Last week, we looked at how to write a function that does some kind of calculation or processing and then print or output a value by printing it. I want to show you another way to output a value that is not printing. And I imagine you should be familiar with it because we've written code before and we've seen return before, right? We know the difference between print and return. When you're printing something, you have a function that calculates the sum of two numbers and then print it, all that do is take the number and just put it right here on the screen in your console. It just outputs it so that you can see it. But when you return, it does not necessarily print it out on the screen. It will, come again? It sends the value to another variable or to whoever called it. It will return the value or send the value back to whoever called the function. Yeah? Print specifically just returns it to the console. So if I were to take, say, by the way, how you write a function again? I want to write a function that takes two numbers as input and add them. So how you write that function? Def. Adder, you said? And it takes two numbers. Num1, num2, colon. I like the word sum. Hold on, you said sum equal. I don't like the word sum. Because I remember Python used the word sum for something else. All right, I can answer. Equal. And then I would just print. Hold on, let me print first and see what I do. Answer. And then I'm going to call, whoops. I'm going to call my function outside. I'm going to call adder. I'm going to put in two numbers, 10 and 2. So if I were to call this Python app.py, I get 12, right? But let's say, for instance, I did this. Sum of 2m, summation is equal to that, and then I print summation. Let's see what we're going to get. All right. Now it says 12, none. Let's take a look step by step. We printed two things. We're going to find out why it printed two things. Simply put, the reason it print two things is because we have two prints in our code. We have a print right here, so, and a print right here, so. So this one ran first, and then this one ran. The reason this one ran is because this is a part of the body of a function that we called. So everything in the body of the function will execute sequentially. First, it will calculate the answer, then it will print the answer. Then this function will take whatever it returns, put it inside of summation, and then will print summation. That's what this is.
So why not print 12?
Because it didn't return 12. It print 12, but it never return it. The reason it print none is Python's version of null. So because it did not return anything, summation got the nothing that it returned.
So for example.
Hold on, come on, what's that?
It never stored it back as
It did store it. Summation stored the return of adder. And adder did not return anything, or rather it returned nothing. So this has nothing in it, and it print back the nothing.
So adder was nothing.
Come again?
So the adder was nothing.
Adder isn't nothing. Adder returns nothing. There is no return statement in adder, so it does not return anything. So summation started off as nothing, emptiness, and continued to be emptiness because it did not return anything. Sorry to cut you, other question.
That's okay.
Oh.
So if you should put return answer to print 12.
Return answer. Yeah, this. Let's see. Yeah, 12. And the reason it printed twice is because, one, this is this first one, and then this is the next one. Let's see if we can separate it to make it more clear. This one is from the adder function. Put a comma right here. I think that should work. You can use plus, but then I'd have to convert it to a string. No one do that. So I think I can use a comma. Print takes more than one argument. As long as you separate them by comma, it will just print each one of them. I need to put a space here and a space there. This one comes from outside of adder. All right, so let's run this now. This one comes from the other function, 12. That's this. Oh, there are two spaces there. Okay, I guess the comma put a space. And then this one comes from outside the other. That. Make sense? So the other function calculates answer, prints it, and then returns it. This line here gets the return value of this function. So because we're calling the function here, it performs all the actions. It print it, then it return it. The return goes into summation, then we print summation. Come again?
Where the system store the return? Where the system will store the return?
Here?
Yeah, where it says return ans.
Yes. Which is this. So we,
Argument of the function, yeah.
whatever value it returns, it takes it and puts it into whatever it is being assigned to. So answer in this case will be 12. So the value 12 is going to be stored in here. So technically answer is in summation, but answer is a value. It has some value, 12, it has some magnitude, 12. So summation will become 12. So this would be like if you took answer equal num1 plus num2, and then you said sum equal answer. Technically. But we don't want to just say sum equal answer because we want it dynamic. We want it to be dependent on whatever the function is called here. So if I were to change it to something else, 52, because this is what is performing the addition, it is then stored in this variable and then you print it. Make sense?
Next question is that I realize you have print this outside the other whatever. If you should delete that, would it still return 12 or 52 in this case?
Delete this, this
Yeah.
whole line. Let me
Yeah.
comment it out and oops. Save this. And run it. It just does the one. So it only does this one, which is this one. Because we call the function, so everything in here runs. It takes the value, return answer, and stores it in summation, and it just stops. We didn't do anything with summation. So because we never do nothing with summation, it don't print it.
So in this case, as I said before, once you don't call it, it doesn't give it the return.
Well, we did call it,
Okay.
and we did store the value in a variable. We just didn't do anything with the variable. Yeah? This line is us printing the content of the variable, but we did not print the content of the variable, so it don't print the content of the variable. Yeah? Make sense? Yeah? Yes? All right. Can we write a function that takes a single number and returns a Boolean? That Boolean is going to be dependent on whether the number input is even. Can I have one, please? Do we remember how to calculate evenness and oddity? Oddness, I think it's oddity. You tell me, what would you call it? Oh.
They call this line 24. They call the whole line.
What do you call it? The function call.
They said, yeah, but this is the way you define the function as. So what
Line
they call
22 and
this
23 is the definition, and then line 24 is the calling of the function.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if we call it before we print it, we thought it error.
You can, but the thing is,
We-
calling it doesn't require a body. It's just calling it.
So because it's in the body, that's why.
No, well, calling doesn't have a body.
Yeah, but so why
Take it out. Take out the indent. That's right.
Yeah, well, there's a print could have start at answer.
Oh, okay. I see the problem. What is answer?
Answer
All right, I need to go through that then. All right, I need to go through that. Pause 1 second. Take a look at this. All right. What I'm going to be going through is known as scope. And scope is not specific to Python. It is programming in general. Scope basically talks about what a particular line of code can see from where it is. All right? I am going to print answer. And if you notice, VS Code is complaining. I'm going to ignore the complaining for now. I'm going to run this. Let me clear my terminal. I'm going to run this. Give me an error. It says name error. Name answer is not defined.
Did you mean abs?
Did I mean abs? That's a different function, absolute. So it says not defined. But what you mean is not defined? It's right here. I defined it here. I said answer equal num1 plus num2. But here's the problem. This is an entirely separate scope from this. Answer only has value within the scope of this function. Consider this. If I have a brother, I can call him Biggs, and I go to Europe and I meet a stranger on the road and they ask me, where you got your backpack from? And I say, oh, Biggs gave me. Will the stranger know who Biggs is? The stranger not going to know who Biggs is because to me, I know Biggs as my brother. Biggs is the name of my brother within the scope of me. But he's an entirely separate line of code. He's an entirely separate scope. I'm not going to know who named Biggs. Biggs exists, somewhere back in Jamaica in my house. But him don't exist in his context, his scope, the stranger's scope. So I'm not going to know who named so. That's why this is complaining. Answer exists, but only within the context, only within the scope of this function. This line of code cannot see this line of code because it is a box separated from everything else. This only has meaning inside of the context of the function. So you can't print answer if this is the answer that you mean. Which is why I had to return answer, store it in a value, and then print it. So I said summation equal adder and then two numbers. And then I print summation. Yeah? So that would be me going to Europe and saying, I have a brother whose name is Andrew and I call him Biggs. Then you ask me, who gave you this backpack? I said, Biggs give me. Then he would know because I returned the name Andrew, my brother, as Biggs. I have a variable called Biggs and inside that variable I stored my brother Andrew. So now it have context. So now we know who Biggs is. Yeah?
And even in that case where you said summation equal answer, I still would recognize it as also that scope still.
Summation equal, right, that's correct. Because it still don't know who answer is. Still don't know who answer is. But it knows who adder is because adder is a function that is exposed to the entire line of the entire script. And it can call adder and adder returns answer. Yeah? So you don't call answer directly. You call the thing that creates answer and depend on it to return the value for you. Very important. What did I say the assignment was? Create a function that returns a Boolean. And that Boolean should be dependent on whether the number entered as input is even.
Boom. So this is a whole different thing, right? So you print ans and then still this.
Well, you're doing it twice. You're calling the function twice.
Yeah, but if I check out this and run it back.
None.
You get one.
It's a none.
So where did print the second value? where print the second and the 52. Because based on what I said, this never come out. This is none. Because it stores
This
nothing
is the
and
second
nothing.
value. No, so this one printed. The print. This is the second value because that's what we're printing here.
Yeah, but
And it's a none.
no value. Because no value was stored.
Right, no value. That's correct. No value was stored. Why was no value stored?
This is the value.
Where is the value? Show me where you tell Python to return the value of answer.
Yeah, put something at the end of this.
So you need to do it in the body of the function. The function is what needs to have the return. The function definition.
Oh. Supposed to write up number line right there.
Yeah, line 27. Just have a blank return. Instead of a function. So that will save that now.
Hell, that's up there.
Summation. You're saying to return summation. What is summation? Remember, summation is supposed to be within the context of the function. So you calculated answer, but you're returning summation. What is summation? You have to return answer.
Oh.
Right. You will notice though, you have two print statements and only one down here come out. Let me show you something. Allow me to show you something. I'm going to call my other function down here and I'm going to put two numbers, 2 and 4, run this, and I will get, this one is from the other function 6, that's this line here. Yes, I run my function and I see this line print. But if I do this, if I put answer first and then run it, it don't print none. Let me make that clearer. It didn't print anything. Yeah. If you notice, I don't know if it's very clear here, but this line of code is dim. This line of code is dim because VS Code knows that if you try to do anything after return, it will not do the anything. Return will always be the last execution in a function. Nothing can happen after a return. Yeah? Yeah. It exits the function. So it returns the value and then stop. It don't do anything after that. That's why it is dim. VS Code is telling me that this line of code will never be executed.
But the objective value, we cannot forget something.
Oh, what did you forget?
Or you get rid of none again.
How you get rid of the none? Tell me what you have.
I have define, open and close bracket num, colon, answer equal num divided by num.
Num divided by num. All right.
And then if answer equal to 0,
You say if ans equal 0,
colon, print, open bracket, open quotation T, else, close, else, comma, colon, print, F. Yeah.
so, and then
No, enter,
I,
row equal, 2, print row.
F none. Why that's a F none? Why it's a F none? What was the instruction? To write a function that does what?
Determine with even.
More than that. It's supposed to determine if it even, yes, but it's supposed to do something with that determination. What it's supposed to do with it?
Boolean thing.
The Boolean. What it's supposed to do with the Boolean? First and foremost, do we have any booleans here in our code? We don't have any booleans. What you're doing is you're printing a string T or a string F. Those aren't boolean, those are strings. I want a boolean. So I need not T and F, but true or false. Well, I want specifically the boolean, true and false. But he said a word a while ago. I don't want to print true or false. I want to return it. So I'm not going to print. I'm going to return. So, unfortunately, it's still not fully correct. The concept of what I asked you to do is partially correct, but the logic that got you there is not correct. Meaning, that is not how you find out if a number is true or false. So, you want to try again, or you want me to tell you? Anybody else want to tell me how to find out if sorry, not if it's true or false, if it's even or odd, sorry. Can I remember, hold on. Well, yes, you're correct. Hold on, just to remind you. No matter what, this will always give you 1. So no matter what, this will always be false.
True.
Because 1 never going to equal 0.
True.
All right? So tell me again, how you find out if a number is even or odd? Num mod 2. So I take the modulus of the number, I take the modulus of 2 of the number. If when I divide number by 2, I get 0, that means there was no remainder. That means it's even. So if I get 0, true, it's even. If it is anything but 2, if it is 1 or anything else, it would only ever be 1 or 0. So if it is 1, return false. So let's see if that works now. Is that true? What's that?
Could you try something just return items equal?
Okay. So the question asked, if instead of having this entire block of code, I can just say, take out all of this. Let me comment it out. So it's still there. And I'm just going to say return, what was it? Just answer, right? Equal 0, yeah. So, okay, let's run it first. Actually, let me take this out to say it's not confusing. I'll put it back if anything. Wait. I can cut this, save it. So this is my function. I can run this. It's a true. Let's put 3 here. Whoops. False. So let's see why this worked. Tell me when you're ready. What do you mean? Yeah, that's fine. So remember, this line of code, line 25, is not a part of the definition of the function. It is outside of it. No, it is currently not a part of it. It is only considered a part of it if it is indented inside the def. Anything on the same line as def is not considered a part of the function.
Yeah, but it's still possible to call it and get the answer.
Yeah.
So you get a call from anywhere.
From anywhere, yeah. Once it's called. Right, correct. All right, want me to explain this now? Again.
So you're saying that the return has its own boolean. So it returns true or false.
All right, good. All right, so once again, this is not Python. This is just programming. So look at this. I have a statement here that when computed, it returns a value. Remember, double equal. What double equal mean?
Equivalent.
Is equivalent or a comparison, right? So I am not assigning 0 to answer. I am asking Python, is answer equal to 0? And once it is computed, it will say either yes or no, or true or false. So when Python run, this line of code will be computed, replaced with whether it is true or false. So this is effectively saying return true or return false. It depends on what this actually computes and equates to. So instead of doing the whole if this, that, just do this. Because it equates to the same thing.
So hence why you couldn't use print then.
You couldn't use print.
So if I was to change the return to print, it wouldn't give me this.
It would give, it would say none. It would say none. Because this line, bro equal even would return none. Or rather, it wouldn't return anything. Bro was none before and it will still continue to be none. So it will print the none. Yeah. Yeah. So we didn't have to do all of that complicated stuff. All right. The reason why this is important, and I'm glad that you asked, the reason it's important is because, can I explain that now or am I going too far ahead? All right. All right. Eventually, when we start doing labs, and we're doing Arduino labs, I may give you an assignment to, I will provide you with a front end, a website, with a switch on it, a light switch. And when you turn the light switch on, it should make your LED on your breadboard in real life turn on. Yeah? So my website, what it will do is it will make a request to a server that you will build, and that request will say light switch equal true. And then you will receive that light switch equal true, and then you will interpret that light switch equal true as an instruction to turn on your LED. No, let me see. New file. The app.ino. You have your void setup. Oops. And your void loop. In your void loop, this is Arduino code. If you want to be able to take a pin and output a high to it, you want to make your LED turn on. Say for instance the LED is on pin 4. You'd write digital write 4, and what you write after that? If you want to put a 5 volts on the pin, you write high. Why is it complaining? It's on the, all right, don't matter. It's because it doesn't know it's Python. Or not Python, Arduino. I would have to, it don't matter, it's all right. I'd have to include, yeah, but I don't think it's still not going to work. Let me try. I don't think it'll work. Include Arduino.h. I don't think it's going to work. But it's fine. It don't matter. So yeah, we will put high on 5 volts on the pin by putting high. But let's say, for instance, I didn't want to hard code the high. I want it to be dependent on whatever the return of the server is. So the server is returning light switch equal true or light switch equal false. What I have seen people do in the past is them would, let's say, for instance, you had a function that just gets the response from the server. So get server response. And I set that equal to pin state. Say int pin, wait, not int, it would be a boolean. Int pin state equal get server response, right? Okay. Some people would do something like this. If, see, pin state equal true, then would say this. And then say else, copy this, and put this here, and put low here, right? So people would check to see what pin state is and see if it's true, and if it is true, then put a high on the LED, and if it is false, then put a low on the LED, which is not wrong, but it's too many steps. The reason why, I don't know if you know this, but in Arduino, high and low is the same as true and false. They evaluate to the same thing. I believe they are also 1 and 0. So given that, instead of checking to see if it is true, and if it is true, put true on it, or checking to see if it's false, and if it is false, you put false on it, just take what it is and put it on it. So meaning, just go like this. Digital right.
pin state.
4 comma pin state. Yeah. Just do this.
Yeah, but
Be-
you could have just put get server response instead of
Yeah, you could do that. You could. You could. I guess the reason why I wouldn't that is because
easier to read when you have it.
yeah, it is easier to read, but there are other reasons. But I won't get into that. You could do that. So you could just say, yeah, you just put get server response right here, so, and that'll be fine. The reason why I wouldn't do it is because it might cause problem. Because suppose the get server response, suppose it is a 400 or something. Suppose it's something other than what you want. Yeah. So you'd probably want to put some checks right here to make sure that you actually got a successful server response and the server response is a Boolean. And if it is a Boolean, then you just do this. Because you don't need to check to see if it's true or false, because it can only ever be true or false, assuming it was a successful server response. Yeah? This will make more sense later when we get to that lab.
So it is alright, input.
Yes. Yeah. And typically in Arduino, you'd put high or low right here. But high or low is the same as true and false. Yeah? Okay. All right. So we have a function here that returns a Boolean, and that Boolean is dependent on whether the number inputted is true or false. Here's what I want you to do now. I want you to, with the definition of that function existing, write a for loop for me that will print all the numbers from 1 to 100. If the number is even, print number is even, instead of just printing the number. And if the number is odd, print number is odd. So like, instead of printing 1, print 1 is odd. And instead of printing 2, print 2 is even.
So create a for loop.
For loop that starts at 1 and ends at 100.
And we can use range.
Yes. 100 inclusive. It's 100 inclusive. That for loop should be 5 lines, I think. I think so. You know. Well, the function will stay in your code. In addition to your function, write the for loop separately. Wait. Hold on.
Can I return?
Yeah, that's
can
fine.
I return? Oh,
Control slash or hashtag. As in, just press hashtag. When you press control slash, it puts a hashtag at the beginning of the line. So if you want to highlight everything, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
You say which, or the hashtag?
I just mean, like, if you want to comment out one line, just put a hashtag
Oh,
before it.
single.
Yeah, a single line. The control slash thing works for any language, as long as you're using VS Code. Let me write it. No, for loop. So instead of printing the number, print the statement.
And this would be
So you can return string.
Yeah. Can return anything.
I can move on to the ceremony.
Hmm? I think I know why you asked me that. You can only return in the context of a function. You can't return in a for loop. Only functions can return things. For loops cannot return things. So it is fine to print in the for loop.
In a mind, even the function there, right?
Yeah.
Say if num one modulus 2
Mm-hmm.
return even, underline even. That's the even.
Oh, it's because that's a variable. It's a string. You asked me if it's supposed to be a string. Remember strings have, yeah. But remember the original instruction for that function was it supposed to return a boolean. Don't change it. Make it still return the boolean. So do not modify your even function. Keep it the same as you had it before or use mine. So you can consider it to be, make the instruction given the following function, write a for loop. So you're going to use this, and then in addition to this, you will write your own for loop otherwise. Don't change the function. So don't modify the function. Just keep the function in your code and then write a for loop otherwise.